in is open and available. Things like the Renekton, the Set, also still really strong picks. Gwen as well is going to be locked in here. Could be to Bin, could be to SofM, could even be to Angel. Honestly, who knows when it comes to suiting?
I mean, more than likely going to be the Lee Sin going towards SofM. He's been very strong on this pick. It's his most played pick at the moment, and obviously a lot of people very familiar with SofM and his Lee Sin. But I love when Sunny get their hands on it because we get to see that very aggressive early game coming through from SofM, where he is playing towards his lanes very hard. So I'm looking forward to seeing now where we get that early pressure, especially if you got like the Gwen towards the top lane. You can try and set up for Bin, or if you see these more aggressive picks for Angel in the mid lane.
I'm a little disappointed to see this bot lane locked in from the side of LNG. Again, going very defensive bottom side. But when you look at the win-loss record for LP and Kadaya, it could be a mid laner. It could be a mid laner.
I'm pretty sure that's the
Lulu.
Lulu
Aphelios specifically. That's okay.
Yeah, go on ahead.
Let me finish my point, Dagda.
Yeah.
The Aphelios so far, they played it twice, it's lost twice. When you look at their lethality Varus and the Draven, though, these winning lanes, it's looked really good. I don't like putting LP on this weak side bot lane when you could play through him, and he looks so much better when you do.
Yeah, and I agree. When you got the Draven there, they looked absolutely unstoppable in that bottom side of the map. It really did look like they had the kind of the cause to be like, right, we are playing around this bottom half of the map, and that was what was so successful for them in that game one against OMG. But I think, yeah, the problem that we're seeing from LNG is just that lacking of early game pressure, not really wanting to press the envelope too far forward, and Sunny are being punished, and I think our Sunny are punishing that, which is why I think a lot of people, when they look at LNG, aren't fully convinced that we will see them do particularly well, even though we kind of see them getting into playoffs.
We'll have to see if they do get to playoffs. Now, are they going to make it to playoffs? Ometer. Both of these teams scored pretty highly, so it seems likely, but we'll have to wait and see. The Braum going to be banned away. They agree with you, Dagda. Sunning is saying, look, that's a Lulu mid. We've seen it before. We know this whole rodeo. We've played that with Angel. We've done this one. They ban away the Braum. Thresh is already taken off the board. And it does mean that this Aphelios doesn't have that many good supports to pair with.
Yeah, now I'm curious to see what the plan is here, because obviously now you've got the Rakan banned away. I think you take Nautilus here as on. That gives you that really strong engage tool for that bottom lane. Okay, they're going to take the Leona side of it. It means you can still, as Kadaya here, take that Nautilus if you want to try and play the more defensive side of this matchup, where you're looking to try and use the Nautilus hooks to prevent Leona from engaging, but still means you're very much on that back foot and doesn't give you that lane that you were kind of highlighting, Munch, to actually start to play around for LNG. And honestly, right now for LNG, the only place that I really see them having that pressure to play aggressive is going to be through this mid lane, although that's going to be an interesting top lane for Ale, the Kennen coming through. We've only seen this once, I think, so far in the LPL, and can do okay against the Gwen in the early stages, where he's able to poke, he's AP, so that super high base armor that Gwen has isn't too much of an issue. And then you'll be looking to see if you can have these big impactful team fights with that Maelstrom.
We'll have to see, because the slicing Maelstrom, as you say, just absolutely terrifying. When you can get it on lots of people, especially with the Galio there, with a Lulu there, it does feel like a hell of a wombo combo. It's been played 3 times so far this split. Nuggery, unsurprisingly, one of those games. Bew and 8-9-1-7. Now Ale going to be joining that list, bringing out the Kennen in the top side. It's going to be up against Bin's Gwen, though. And I have to say, I don't know the matchup super well, but I'd imagine that Kennen, at least in the early game, can find some advantages.
Yeah, the big problem is just trying to play around the Hollowed Mist as Kennen, because if you're able to dash back as the Gwen, you can try and absorb a lot of that initial burst damage from the Maelstrom. And don't forget, I know it got changed a while ago, the Maelstrom actually has reduced damage over time. The initial burst is what you really want to land with this Kennen, so if you're able to Hollowed Mist a lot of that initial damage from the ultimate, it can be a little bit easier for Bane, and of course a squishy matchup as well, so things like that needlework, if you're able to close the gap, can do wonders for you. So I'll have to see how Ale is going to be able to do in that top half of the map. Hopefully have a better time than he did when he was on the Jax in the last game.
Yeah, my one big concern that I do see with this LNG comp, because on paper, it's like, okay, everyone jump in, everyone slam your ults, we've all got big AoE, whatever. You do have it in Zhao in the middle of that. there is a lot of potential anti-synergy where Tarzan knocks everyone away from each other as a Galio ult comes in, as a Kennen ult comes in, and ruins the entire party. I hope we don't see that. I'm just pointing out it's an interaction that exists and, you know, shenanigans. Let's look at Suning though, Dagda. What do you anticipate from a composition like this?
Well, I actually want to kind of answer off of the point that you just made for a certain extent, because they're still going to obviously have to team fight against LNG. This is a pretty heavy team fighting team, but you do have a lot of peel. When you look towards like the ability for Lee Sin to be able to boot this Kennen out as he tries to go for an engage, you've got Bin who can actually like peel for himself in a lot of these situations as well, and Angel too, just to try and prevent and zone off things like LP in these fights. Means you've got a pretty strong composition for Suning to try and bounce back against the fighting composition that we're seeing from LNG. The one thing I want to see from Suning though is a bit more pressure down towards these early dragons, and especially down towards this bot lane as well, because when you've got Lee Sin, early game jungler, a lot of CC that can come through from Huanfeng and on, and honestly a bit of a vulnerable Aphelios in that bottom side of the map, I think you've got opportunities here Suning to get that ball rolling.
And with that lethality virus as well, one of the things that you will often buy for yourself is early lane priority, the ability to just shove those minions in. As LP has been found in this bottom side here. Good amount of damage done already. And a shock to Yumi coming up from on as they return to their lane. But yeah, early in the game, it will be difficult for Kadaya and LP to fight for priority. And as such, the Dragons, as you're saying, Dagda, could be a big win condition here for Suning. And as we look across the runes, looks like everything relatively standard here. 2 air reusers in the same game. I don't think I've seen that all year, Dagda.
Yeah, it's been a while, but definitely for Ale, going to help out here. He's all about that poke. We've kind of already been touching on it, so you can see there already starting to get these auto attacks going. Has the E as well, so just making sure that he can get those extra defenses if he needs to, but also be able to kind of scart away from Bin if he tries to go aggressive, although Ale does use it to go in and go forward there, so Bin trying to see if he can get a nice trade back.
I feel like Ale saw all of the announcements on Twitter and he's like, all right, time to play Pokemon here. He's got his little pet cat that he throws them. He himself is playing as Pikachu. Like, I feel like Ale is fully role-playing in the top side right now with just sheer excitement. But across the map, I do want to say, like, you're talking about the Drakes, and obviously we have SofM on the Lee Sin, who always wants to be proactive in the early stages on a pick like that. You also have Orianna versus Lulu, which is relatively neutral, but Orianna can just push that lane out to force prio and like expend a lot of mana just to be able to make sure she can roam away.
Yeah, and I think that's the big one, is that like Angel should be able to keep control of this mid lane. It's just if you end up in a 2v2, Icon and Tarzan will take over. So we have to see if Icon and Tarzan are going to try and go for any of these early invades, and maybe you get the opportunity when Ale does get better control up over this top side. You can see he's doing a pretty good job of whittling down Bin, but in the early stages, trying to get down onto this bottom half of the map, maybe contest the blue buff, seems a long stretch with just how little pressure LNG have on that bottom lane.
Looks like Bin is going to be heading back to base. As you're saying, Ale manages to get a lot of harass down in that top lane. It means Bin, knowing that Tarzan is on the top side as well, has to recall to get health and mana back to crash this wave underneath the tower. Tarzan is up here, but it doesn't look like Tarzan's particularly interested in trying to make a play up towards Bin right now.
No, and I think Ale's just going to hold on for a little while before he goes for his first back. Wants to see if he can get that initial Hex Tech alternator to start setting up for the Rocket Belt and getting that big play that can, that big item that can then set up plays where you're able to dash in, get that extra little bit of move speed, which is always nice for things like the Kennen. But SofM, you can see he's just going to trounce his way through bot side. He's looking to see if he can play off this priority that he has in the bottom lane and set himself up with a bit more cash.
Yeah, look for Krugs, but they're gone. Tarzan already took them out, and now Tarzan, who was doing a similar thing on the top side of the map and discovers no Krugs available. Both junglers have to walk away empty-handed, and Tarzan's like, you know what? I'm taking the mid wave instead. Screw you, Icon. Need a bit of gold for myself. And let's be honest, when you think about Icon and Tarzan right now, Tarzan's the carry, not this Lulu.
Yeah, and they're just getting confirmation of where either jungler started, right? Because you now know, hey, look, with those Krugs gone, they've gone for this full clear. They're going to be looking to see if they can actually get the the level 3 camps that are going to be spawning for themselves now. So both junglers just going to work their way back through. It's going to be more of a case of, hey, look, what do we see when this next
2v2 on the bottom side here. Double taunt from Kadaya. This Huanfeng trading back pretty aggressively. Gravitum in from LP. But I don't think they're going to follow. I feel like that was maybe a winnable 2v2 there from LP and Kadaya, but they don't commit to the play.
Yeah, a little bit suspect as to how aggressive that they wanted to go, but look, either way, I mean, we've seen LP and Kadaya on these champions. You do want to be playing a little bit safer, and can be a bit of an uphill battle if you end up in the wrong spot, and especially when they're already behind with the just the CS advantages, not wanting to kind of risk the biscuit and end up falling further behind. However, again, we're still not seeing a huge amount of pressure coming through from these junglers, right? I wanted to see SofM actively playing down towards this bottom lane, trying to use the fact that you've got these bullies in Huanfeng and on, and get over towards these dragons. But so far, they just haven't been able to get that play going, and Icon and Tarzan have been playing pretty heavily down towards this bottom side to prevent anything from SofM really coming through.
Well, SofM is on that bot side now. Did a Scry's Bloom over towards the Drake, but Tarzan has a pink ward in Pixel Brush and wants to play defensively around that objective. Angel, level 6 in that mid lane. Tarzan going to drop the deep ward to try and make sure that he's spotting SofM out if any transitions come through that part of the jungle. SofM on his Gromp right now. Tarzan has spent a long time just kind of chilling in this banana bush. And SofM might finally walk towards him. Oh no, blast cones into the play and just gets shredded. Kadaya with first blood. Oh, Shockwave in the mid lane though. Angel wants a 1v1 with Icon. Doesn't commit, he's out of mana.
And that's a good job from Tarzan to actually get this early play. We're just saying, hey, look, you know, he's been sitting there for a while. His top camps are there, but he knew that eventually SofM, because he was going to be on the bottom side, would try and move in towards this river. And with Kadaya, they read that perfectly. So nice job from Tarzan, just reading exactly what SofM wanted to path.
And you know, I was getting ready to criticize Tarzan for waiting around in that spot for so long, but it's because he knew exactly what SofM was going to do. He was lying in wait and able to punish SofM from making the play. SofM now going to at least try and get himself a Gromp or something as some kind of consolation for that Drake. But you can see Tarzan is already moving up towards the top side of the map. He's a level up. He's 200 gold up on SofM right now. That's not a 1v1 that SofM can take.
Yeah, SofM was thinking, okay, Tarzan gets the kill, bot gonna fall back in towards his own red that had just spawned, but instead Tarzan skips through mid and ends up forcing SofM off. So now SofM just falls behind off the play, not having that level 6 up and available. Tarzan in a good spot now, even getting the dragon as well. So nice job from LNG, and good to see the more proactive plays that we were talking about, right? Kadaya and Tarzan working together to make these plays happen. This is what we wanted from LNG.
Yeah, we wanted a bit more early game presence. And that's what we're getting to see so far. It's good to see Tarzan leading the charge as well. It does feel like a lot of the fans of LNG are fans because of Tarzan, right? A lot, certainly in terms of our Western fan base, our international fans, it does feel like a lot of people loving this team because of the old Griffin jungler. Same with EDG and Viper. It does feel like there's a lot of excited LCK fans that are invested in the success of this team, and with such a great start to the split, it does feel like LNG more recently have fallen off a little bit, lost direction, but this game, this series even, clearly having a direction where they wanted to play. Didn't work out in game number 1, but at least they know that they want to play through this top side now. They want to play through Tarzan and through Alan.
I do laugh though at SofM where he's like, look, we're going to give up this Rift Tower, but he's going to do the classic thing of walking through Angel's lane going, hey, I really need you to have priority right now so I can invade. So he just helps Angel clear the wave and then just walks into the opposition jungle to start sealing away the camps. And it's something SofM does a lot. It's just a call out going, look, I know that we have priority here. I know you cannot contest this. So even though you know this play is happening, there's just little you can do about it.
Yeah. Just well aware of the situation, well aware of the fact that there's nothing Tarzan could do to answer in terms of those chickens. But you know what? Tarzan's okay with the trade. Because at the end of the day, Tarzan got a Rift Herald. I'd say that is worth more than just a set of chickens. But only if you can get it down onto a tower. Although I say that, you still do get 100 gold, so it's probably still worth more than the chickens regardless of whether you ever drop it or not. But even still, they're going to be wanting to get a couple of plates, and Ale could be a good option for that, because as you can see, he's got priority. He's already done a good chunk of damage to that tower. Could be a really good option for Tarzan.
Yeah, and I imagine that is probably where they're going to put it, especially just as you said, to guarantee that first turret for themselves. The other option is going to be in bot lane, where you're kind of going, hey, look, you know, LP could definitely use a little bit more gold. He's 20 CS behind at the moment, and Aphelios, in a lot of the situations, is going to be your late game carry, but your mid game will be powered by Tarzan and Lale.
Huanfeng flashes out. He'll be right, though. As Tarzan actually looking towards this bottom side instead. They do have Aphelios, so you can always find a way to get through those plates. Bin looking for an all-in, and Ale backs away with the lightning surge. Will escape in the end, and SofM is on this bottom side to make sure Tarzan cannot get an opportunity to drop a Herald, protecting his bot laners.
Yeah, making sure that he's just able to keep them safe. And again, this is SofM, great the fact that you're able to keep Huanfeng safe, make sure that he's the one that's in control, but we're not seeing much in the way of this early aggression coming through from Suning, and I expected to see a little bit more when we got the Lee Sin from SofM. He's been really good at it, but Tarzan has been doing a good job of keeping him in check, and LNG not really given the option. Now when we start to move in towards this mid-game where we've got Dragon in a minute, should go the way of LNG, just being able to move that through thanks to the pressure that Tarzan and Icon have on these two picks. But then you should be in an okay spot here as LNG to go, right, we've moving towards Soul Point, we're forcing Suning into these fights where we've got this crazy strong top half of the map.
Yeah, we are a long way away from that though, before they can get themselves towards Soul Point, etc. Luckily for them though, it will be either Ocean or Mountain Soul, which either one pretty great when you're against the Lethality Varus. Definitely the two kinds of souls that you'll be wanting to look towards in the game. As Ale once again getting aggressed upon by Bin, but gets the stun out and keeps the Scissor Lady away.
Yeah, and you can see Ale realizes, hey look, I don't really have all-in threat. I don't have kill threat in this lane. It is very much about trying to poke and prod and work your advantages through that. And if the second Bin is able to get onto him with that Hollowed Mist, it becomes a little bit more difficult for Ale to operate. But still doing a pretty good job. We'll maybe need to TP back up to this top lane before he ends up under too much pressure. Suning now starting to congregate around this mid lane for Dragon.
Uh-oh. SofM's got to be a little bit careful on this one. Has the safeguard, dips out of there. And you can see LNG are desperate to force this one. I'm a little surprised to not see the Herald used in the mid lane just to force priority for this Drake here. As Bin actually having priority on the top side. No TP available for Bin. Ale has TP here as SofM aggressed upon by Tarzan. The ward was cleared. Ale moving back towards that top side. Remember, if Kennen can get a TP flank, I mean, the fight's already over for Suning at that point.
You're going to get LNG using this Rift Guard on bot side. Only 3 plates remaining on that bottom turret. So going to make sure that they're able to secure that, I imagine, although it has been stopped by the creeps for just a moment. And again, I think the reason why we didn't see them need to force that mid priority, as pointed out much, was that TP available for Ale.
No smite for SofM, but they still get it. They stop the charge going down. Beautifully done here by Suning. Excellently stopped as we discussed where Tarzan could make that play. We said Aphelios maybe could be an option here. He tries to make it happen, but Suning doing a really good job just to neutralize the city game.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of, hey, look, you end up spending so much time trying to clear the wave that the Rift Tail's just sitting there doing nothing. Suning are able to react, and you're getting neither benefits of the Rift Tail. You're not getting the pressure play, so you can actually move over towards the Dragon first, and you're not even getting the gold either. So it means that for LNG, it's a double loss, and now Suning have been able to kick them out of river as well, and keep them honest, and no Dragon will go down.
No Dragon will go down, at least for now. And remember, Suning, they have a Lethality Varus who now already has a Serpent's Fang as well. Finished that a little while ago and has a tier as well. SofM, though, on this Lee Sin, finished his Gore Drink. A very, very aggressive early spike for him. Will be able to have a significant amount of more impact in the game now. And you can see that he's trying to have that impact on the top side. Ale has greeded for a play here. Bin going to start the all-in off with the needlework. And a TP out from Icon. It's going to dissuade Bin for now. SofM flashing Striker into the play. There's a kick. There's a Sonic Wave as well onto Ale. Oh, that is not a good ult there from Ale. He's going to get collapsed upon now. Wild Growth keeps him alive. SofM can't get back into play, but Angel's behind everyone on the Orianna. Here comes Galio. Everyone flies into the play from somewhere on the map, but LNG get one kill.
Nice job by LNG, and that's the kind of mid-game spike that we were talking about. Being able to power through this strong top half of the map. Now, Angel still looking, though.
Oh, he gets him. Angel actually finds a pick off of that. I'm amazed. I can't believe he actually got one off the end of it.
Yeah, everyone had already moved down bot side for LNG, so Ale left on the island by himself, and Angel just paddles his way up, manages to get the kill and get one back for themselves. But still, Tarzan, with the advantage, still going to be turning towards this Rift Herald. You also have the TP available in the next 10 seconds there for Ale, and looks like that's what we're just going to have paused here for LNG to buy a bit more time until the Kennen can come in.
Oh, the moment of truth, though, Dagda. Is it possible? 2 Heralds for LNG after what happened in game number 1? Can they really just do 2 Heralds in 2 attempts? That is a significant percentage increase on their Herald attempts. As Suning gonna go over to the Drake themselves, even things up across the map. A complete objective trade.
Holy moly, the double successful Rift Herald take from LNG. What a time to be alive. Just as a quick side note, because we don't get to see this matchup very often, Huanfeng having that early Serpent's Fang, it will not affect Galio's magic damage shield. It only affects physical damage, so even though you see Galio kind of having that shield there, just remember that it's still going to be the full amount of the shield, even if he gets hit by Huanfeng. And Angel's magic and Bin's magic damage still going to be at least helped a little bit for Kadaya with that shield.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I suppose that works for Morgana as well, which is interesting because Renekton does not distinguish between different types of shields, even though he's AD as well.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah,
how
it's
the
just the Shield Reaver. It's just the active that's on that.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, we'll keep that in mind. I'll try and watch out for that in the fights, whether or not Kadaya's shield is doing much of anything. LP though finishing a tower in this bottom lane and looking to press a little bit more. And I have to say, I think I misread this bottom lane Dagda. I said that Huanfeng was going to be able to get priority with the Varus, etc., etc. That has not really been the case for a lot of this lane, where we keep on seeing LP managing to crash these waves under the tower.
I'm keeping my eyes on this mid lane, though. I know you're wanted to talk about LP, but Suning getting a bit handsy.
Suning certainly getting a bit handsy. It's SofM jumping all over Kadaya here. We'll be able to back away. Clears the vision. And Galio definitely not the ideal target to start a fight onto, as Tarzan takes a Q to the face, misses his W. And SofM, he's happy with that trade any day of the week. Oh, the taunt comes out though, and it stops him following up onto Kadaya. A recall out from Icon and no TP available means that Suning now have control of the map. They're going to pressure in this bottom side to look for a tier 1, as Bin actually maybe could be in trouble. Dodges away from the Shuriken though. Nicely done. Now the needlework coming on through. It's going to be the slicing maelstrom. Bin. Dagda, analysis. What just happened?
Bin thought Gwen healed more. That's kind of the extent of it. If he'd actually managed to get the damage down to get that 5th shot of the 5 shots of the needlework off, probably would have been able to survive. Probably could have taken down Ale, but the CC was too much, too quick, and it meant that Bin actually couldn't get that quick burst of damage off, and Ale gets the kill. So nice job for the Kennen.
There we go. That's his 17th solo kill. That means he now has sole possession of 2nd place on the solo kill charts. He's overtaken Nuguri at this point. Let's take another look at that intense action between Bin and Ale.
Hey, I mean, look, Hallowed Mist is down. This is Ale's time to shine, right? We talked about how playing around that Hallowed Mist means so much. Ale doesn't get hit by the first initial burst of damage. And again, you can see that CC stops the 3rd proc. Well, I'm going to say 1st, 2nd proc of the needlework coming through from Bin. And then that 3rd one doesn't actually get out before Bin goes down.
Yeah, bit unfortunate from Bin. I think he maybe expected to be able to press more buttons than he was allowed to press, but that is the nature of playing against a Kennen. That's what happens. You can get multiple stuns off across the course of your ultimate if you weave in the W and whatnot. But On is up in the top side here. He's going to find a stun. There is a 6 level difference between Ale and On right now, but it won't matter. The needlework actually happens this time, and Icon, late to the party, will just waste his teleport.
Yeah, but nice job coming through from On. Sets up Bin, gets a bit more back in his pocket, and now,
oh my goodness, SofM, that was aggressive. He gets out. He actually gets away with that one. Is he going to go for the eye proc? Doesn't look like it. Smites it away in the end. Saves the tower, importantly. That was a brave play from SofM. He's a brave player, to say the very least. And now On having to flash away on the top side of this play. But the tower survives for now. That said, I do feel like anyone from LNG can just walk up and auto-attack that if ever it's free.
Yeah, they're just going to wait for the wave and then take that one down. You can see Suning already going to just gift this one up. Angel pushes in bot. They're going to be more interested in Bin getting control top because with a dragon at 30 seconds, they really need to get these resets in. And you can see already pretty much first items completed across the board. The big one, though, is Ale having that Morellonomicon. Going to help out a lot. He just TP'd top, though. Doesn't have his ultimate available quite yet, so may need to start the long walk down.
So SofM in mid right now, looking for some chickens, but he's not going to get them for now. LNG grouping up Suning as well. We're going to fight for a Mountain Drake here, Dagda, and it's looking to be a 5v5 because Bin has TP as well. Suning stood on a ward though right now. If the CC can land, remember, if Kadaya can get in there with the knock-up icon with the wild growth, it's very difficult for Suning to win a grouped-up team fight. But as always, there's an Orianna in this game. Keep your eyes out for that shockwave from Angel. SofM going to be CC'd up, Safeguard out to join the rest of his team. Ale on the flank. Slicing Maelstrom could completely turn this fight onto its head. Here we go. SofM on the front line looking to get onto the Drake here. Ale has been spotted by Bin and the Drake will reset. Tarzan just continues to try and wail in with those autos, but Suning push aggressively, forcing LNG away in this lethality. Varus getting some value out from these long-range Qs. Here we go, 50-50, Smite fight goes through. It's Tarzan to get it, and now the fight ensues as well. Stuns across the team, Tarzan diving onto the backline, he's onto Angel, the exhaust is going to work out, the Gordon keeps him safe, and all of the ultis come through from LNG to just wipe Suning off of the play.
And that's the team fight that LNG wanted. Tarzan, enabled by Icon, dives into the backline. You've Ale to follow up to keep other members of Suning at bay. And now LNG, they get the dragon. They're turning towards this Baron.
They might actually be able to just burst through it as well. They do have a red and white Aphelios. He's got some shurikens going for himself, so they can just blow through this Baron. SofM is alive and on the scene. He has his smite available right now, and so it can be dicey for LNG. Tarzan actually jumps out of the pit to get onto SofM. Maybe he's gone too deep for this one. SofM can't get into the pit though. The taunt onto 3 here. It's going to be 1 taken by Angel. Kadai's in trouble as well.
Tarzan's
Icon's
dead.
in trouble too. There's another kill. That's 3 now. Suning make it 4. How have they done that? Out of nowhere, Suning blast onto the play. They ruin this Baron play from the side of LNG. There's 1 Baron buff remaining and he's stuck underneath the tower. He tries to go for the recall, but we all knew that that wasn't happening. SofM gets a bit of sustain. The turret shot finish him. LP gets 1 for his trouble, but the Baron is thwarted.
And it's a disaster from LNG. They don't have the damage to take down Baron quick enough, and Angel and Bin, they get the TP, they get to the fight, and honestly, that could have got even more pear-shaped. Tarzan died midway through before the Baron went down, and Bin is there with his scissors eyeing up that big purple worm, not quite able to snip it in favor of Suning, but Suning, that turns this game right back around and gets them fully in control once more.
And once again, Angel coming up trumps for the team. Again, I feel like I say it so often, this guy is underrated as hell. Check out his Orianna here and the pressure he's able to put out in this fight.
Exactly, and crucially, gets this pick on towards Tarzan as well. And watch where Bin is. Bin TP's in on towards the backline. So Ale and LP, who've been tanking up this Baron the whole time, are just sitting ducks. Bin not quite able to steal away the Baron, but still Suning. They kill everyone and they get rid of the buff regardless.
And LNG just not respecting the double teleport that could come out from Suning. Really great decision making, and this is the thing we've been praising for Suning recently, right? Is that their shot calling has been getting better. When it comes to these decisive moments, it feels like Suning are a team that you're starting to be able to rely on. Now, I'm not saying that they don't still need to do work. I'm not saying that they're there yet, but certainly plays like this do make you feel a lot better about what Suning are bringing in the mid game.
And now, with that play, Angel is massive. This guy's just completed 2 items. He's got his Blight Jewel in his back pocket as well. And when you start to look at how squishy LNG are, we just saw Tarzan, kind of the tankiest member, get blown up. Angel can step up as a big carry for this team, potentially burst out Alley before he can get that Maelstrom working out. Look towards LP, really give it the opportunity to zone out, especially as we got a lot of congestion around this river.
Another fight for another Drake here. LNG won the last one. Suning want to make a change to that. But remember, even though Suning won that last fight, it was a very, let's be honest, it was good from Suning, but it was also pretty terrible from LNG. Like, they completely split up there. 2 people trying to finish off the Baron while the rest of the team is fighting one by one. Like, that was pretty much worst case scenario for this composition from LNG. So when it comes to grouping up as a 5 for a Drake, LNG still have a really good composition for exactly that type of fight.
We got to see if they're going to be able to use it, though. I mean, Suning, they've got their big influx of gold as well. So even when you look towards people like Huanfeng, 3 items there for himself. Looks like we're getting an early Warmogs coming through for SofM because, of course, for Lee Sin, you know. But yeah, I think still this is going to be a kind of the... It feels like nearly the fight that's going to break this game. Because if LNG are able to get themselves ahead, well, you end up in a situation where this Aphelios ends up in a good spot. Ale can really have more control and get for further items like that Zonya's completed himself as SofM will just hoard up away. Whereas if you look at Suning, they've got some decent scaling as well with Angel and Bin. And that could be the difference.
Oh no. The recall is cancelled. Tarzan wants a 1v1 here, but he's just booted away. Feels the force of SofM's heal right there and removed from the play. 15 seconds on that Drake, and importantly, Tarzan stopping that recall is crucial because it means Tarzan can just run on over, and SofM will be nowhere to be seen for a little while.
And yeah, it looks like right now, LNG full control over this objective. Suning now trying to contest, but as you said, not having Dragon's Kick for SofM does make things a little bit easier for LNG.
Oh, Kedaya. Oh, it's not pretty from Kedaya. It's still going to be the Drake take and Suning. Maybe they can find a fight. It's going to be a stopwatch out from Kedaya to buy some time. Solar Flare flashed away from LP on the front line, but he's able to just push Suning away. Looks like Suning just have to go to the mid lane, but they already took the tier 1. I don't think they'll get anything off of this.
Yeah, sometimes the things that work aren't pretty, and that was kind of the story there for Kedaya, just about managing to get out of that, and it means that now LNG, they do take the long road home, but they will still be here to protect this turret. Dragon number 3 for LNG now, 4.5 minutes until the next one's up, and when you're looking towards... Ooh, hang on.
Big damage on
surely it's just a baby.
Is real squishy, actually. Like, every time we see Angel go for a QW, Icon's like half of his health is gone at least. If there's a shockwave in there, Icon will get 100 to 0'd by Angel at this point. And that's important to mention that Angel, about to finish his 3rd item. He's so close to finishing off a Void Staff with this wave on the top side, he might just be able to do that. That's when Orianna is going to become a real terror in these team fights.
I mean, we kind of talked about it already. We've already seen how strong she is. Nearly one-shots Tarzan, or at least takes him below 3/4 HP when we got that Baron fight. Now we're getting to see it against Icon. Like, Angel is a big carry for this squad. And now, at least having these extra Mountain Dragons coming through will help pretty significantly against that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ale going for this more defensive build like the Banshee's Veil, just to try and help him survive a lot of this initial burst as he gets in. But we'll have to see if that's going to be the call.
Yep, we'll have to wait and see. 2 items finished for LP as well as he's heading towards a 3rd. And a bit of a different build from the Kraken Slayer into Hurricane that we're so used to seeing with Aphelios. This is a bit more of a recent development in Aphelios builds where you go for the shield bow for the sustain, but also you get the crit as well as a bit of lethality out from that Collector. Certainly helps with just finishing targets off. And we'll see how that's going to work out for LP, because I feel like he has a lot of space in this game, right? There's not many ways for Suning to get onto the backline with this composition from LNG.
The only issue that he has really is worried about Angel, where that ball positioning can really do him dirty if it's in like some of these close quarter jungle opportunities, or even if it's just like zoning him off with that ball in a lot of these fights. So I think Angel actually has a lot of control for him. And then you got to keep your eyes on SofM as well. We've seen how good he is at getting on towards these immobile AD carries.
I apologize if anyone on stream can hear my dog barking. I think there's an Amazon parcel arriving and she just cannot hack it. She just can't handle that kind of action going on. And I mean, she's a huge Suning fan and they're losing on the map right now. So, you know, it's dicey at best for her. Here we go. Gold is even as LNG burn through this Baron. Been trading for a bot lane tier 2 and now TPing into the play. SofM over the wall here. Tarzan backs away, doesn't go for the 50-50. SofM threatening the backline, but it's Ale with a huge ulti. Tarzan knocks everyone Orion, then the knockups from the Galio. This is what we wanted from the composition of LNG. SofM gets out with his life here. Suning, they have stopped the Baron temporarily, but now LNG can restart the play. Tarzan happy to tank up. He's got Icon as his support. A taunt comes in onto SofM, but he safeguards back out once more. And Suning keep the pressure on. Tarzan's getting incredibly low here. Q goes wide onto the Baron. Kadaya taking another hit. Lethality Varus. He's in a shooting gallery right now. He has perfect targets, endless amounts of them. He can just blast out these Qs. Kadaya with a taunt onto SofM. It buys the Baron. Can Suning get any kills though? There's a Q, narrowly misses onto Tarzan. On looks for a way in. Huanfeng wants targets, but it just won't happen. And LNG get away with the heist.
Kadaya gave his life for the cause. LNG managing to get that Baron now can get them control back on the map, especially 1 minute until that Mountain Soul. This sets them up so well for that ensuing fight. And that whole thing started, as you said, with Ale, an incredible flank, actually gets on towards Angel before the shockwave can come through, and that was the difference maker. Now, as you start to look towards the items that you can complete for LNG off this fight, you know, Lord Dominic's Regard now finished. Both the Staff of Floating Water and the Ardent Sensor for Lulu. She's going to be able to enable Tarzan and LP so well for this next Dragon fight.
That said, when we look across the composition from Suning, check out Huanfeng's items right now. He's got 4 items as we broach the 30-minute mark. This is the nature of lethality. The items are a little bit cheaper, and you can squeeze a bit more value out. And once again, Huanfeng, his farm is off of the charts. I don't know what this guy is having for breakfast every day, but he is just eating up minions like they are nothing right now. And it means that Suning are strong, but they need to be, because this would be soul for LNG. Bit of damage coming down. They found Kadaya here, and SofM's committing to the play. LNG have to retreat from the Drake to save their support. And now we start the dance again, Dagda.
I'm going to start up this Dragon as well. LNG coming in front to back, though, works really well for Suning.
Oh, the damage out from Huanfeng here. Bin having to use his Hallowed Mist. He's actually caught out in this position. He surely goes down here, doesn't have the sustain. It's not a good look for Suning here. 4 versus 5 now, and a TP behind them. LNG want the fight that will win them the game. Wild Growth onto Kadaya in the front line. Shockwave onto 2 though. Suning in a 3 versus 5. They just can't do anything. It's a trade 1 for 2 as a third one falls and LP gets the kill. Huanfeng, he survives, but that's nothing to write home about.
He's the last man standing as well as LNG. They're not even interested in the Dragon. They're just going to try and go for the end. 40 seconds on Angel, 30 on SofM, 24 Bin. This is going to be a close one, but when you've got so much damage from Icon, from Tarzan, you might be able to get through.
No. Huanfeng is going to go down here. Tarzan still had his ulti available, so the arrows just can't do anything. That's going to mean that LNG take down the Nexus and pushes to 3 games against Suning.
And a nice job to fight back in game number 2 from LNG. We said we wanted to see a little bit more of that early game action coming from them. Kadaya and Tarzan working together to shut down SofM. And once SofM falls behind, we already said he doesn't really get an impact in the game. He kind of puts the head down, go back to farming, and it's just like, look, I need to try and play catch up here. But it means that Suning slowly but surely fall more and more behind when we look towards those objectives, and a lot that gold lead as well.
Yep, Suning not able to control this one, and it did feel like these 5v5s were very heavily in favor of LNG. It felt like there wasn't much Suning could do with this composition that they built for themselves. But then at the same time, this composition didn't have many ways to win the game outside of fighting, right? It didn't feel like they had crazy side lane threat or anything like that either. So it felt like Suning didn't really have much of an avenue to win the game with. And you can see damage-wise, you know, Huanfeng certainly throwing out some Qs, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when it's all about the wombo combo.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for Sunny in this was that we didn't get to see them play their style, right? Which is, hey, Bin's ahead. Let's have him pressure a side lane. We'll pressure another objective. And then we end up getting these TP plays that we can pounce on our opponents very quickly. We got to see Bin off in a side lane once, but it was actually Ale who was able to react faster. He gets on towards Angel and shuts down that big play. Because honestly, I know Huanfeng was shooting a couple of arrows. Angel was the one that I was looking to be the carry here. And every single fight, LNG were doing a really good job of getting on towards Angel and stopping him from being that carry, stopping him from getting these big shockwaves off.
Yeah, really, really good job to try and stop Angel carrying, and felt like Angel had a couple of shockwaves that were hitting multiple people, doing half of their health, but it wasn't enough to actually win a team fight. It wasn't enough to carry the game, and Huanfeng as well, getting some good poke damage, but again, not really enough to turn it into anything. Bin this game, nowhere to be seen. Honestly, might as well have been invisible, especially that 1v1 was that was something special, but